Trail talk time. Out on another incredible trail. Sun just beaming its beautiful rays on his beautiful face. Feeling so good. So confident. So free. That's what I want to talk about today. Going from anxious to confident. And I just showed it right there, you know. A lot of it has to do with your body language, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you use your voice, and the way that you see yourself. You know, the word confidence comes from the Latin confidere. Confidere meaning trust, to trust. So it's all about trusting yourself and trusting that everything's going to be okay in each moment. You know, sometimes I've been anxious in my life. You know, I've had social anxiety and stuff. And I know some people who have it really bad, and I've tried to give them some advice, so I figured I would share some things that have helped me in my life. You know, in whatever situation you are, if you're feeling anxious, one thing that always works for me is coming into the breath, getting into that bodily awareness, tapping into your senses. What am I seeing right now? What am I hearing? What am I smelling? What am I feeling? What am I tasting? Really tapping into the present moment. This is going to be the key, because all that anxiety is coming from us trying to escape the present moment, right? We're caught in our head with these thoughts that keep drawing us from the past to the future, and we're losing out on the beauty of the present, and we're trying to escape it. But if we can tap into the breath, tap into what's going on right now, within us and all around us, then we realize everything's just perfect. You know, unless you're in some hectic situation, sometimes we just get anxious for pretty much no reason. It's just our mind kind of playing these tricks on us, right? To try and get our attention. And I think a really helpful question to ask I got from this amazing teacher, Adyashanti. He's a spiritual teacher. And he talks about asking yourself the question, am I in danger at this moment? You know, or realizing like, I'm not in danger at this moment, right? In this very moment, is there anything really to be afraid of? You know, am I in any type of harm? And most of the time the answer is going to be no, right? And just sit with that knowing that I am safe in this moment, I'm secure in this moment, and there's nothing to fear. And it takes a weight off your shoulders, and all of a sudden you feel more free and open, not so tense, and you're able to relax. And that's what the deep breathing is good for as well. Just real deep breaths. Get a good flowing rhythm going, and this relaxes your body. And another thing that's really good for that is looking at your diet, right? Seeing, are you eating junk food, especially a lot of sugar and stuff? That's going to make you real jittery and put your body in a state of dis-ease, which is going to bring your mind into a state of dis-ease. So we want to make sure we're eating healthy, and especially some dark leafy greens like kale and watercress and spinach, arugula. These types of things are very good for calming your nerves, right? They have a lot of magnesium. And eating a plant-based diet in general has definitely helped me to feel more relaxed You know, not having all that excess fear flowing through your body from these animals that don't want to be killed. You know, they release all of these hormones, and when we take that on, we take on board all of those emotions, and there's so much fear involved in the process of an animal being killed. So I think in general, you know, a plant-based diet is so key for helping us to release that fear that we have stuck within us and start to feel more free and healthy, and you know, living a healthy lifestyle as well. You know, just being out in nature, it helps you tap into that free flow. This beautiful energy is able to flow in nature, and we automatically feel more relaxed and at peace when we're not stuck inside all day, and that helps us become more confident. And I think a big thing I learned one time from this TED Talk, I think it was talking about public speaking or doing, you know, things like that specifically, but you can use this anytime. And they talked about like power poses, right? Like opening up to the crowd, opening up your body, like when they win a race or something. They've studied that when people win a race, you know, they always widen up their stance like this, put their hands up in the sky and take that big V shape. And this is for a reason, right? We do this naturally because we just have that good feeling, and it just releases all of those good hormones. And we don't have to go win a race to feel that good, right? We can start taking on these big power poses like this and hold them, put our hands on our hips, flex, whatever we need to do. And especially doing these things like in front of a mirror are very good for helping to build our confidence, right? Seeing ourselves in those powerful poses, and it feels so good. And in addition to that, we can start to utilize affirmations, right? Now, I love Tony Robbins and the way that he teaches. You know, he's taught how he's been able to transform himself and his life by utilizing what he can, right? Utilizing his abilities, his ability to speak, his voice, and using these affirmations so powerfully. Like, he absolutely believes what he's saying to himself, right? And he talks about, you know, not just being empty affirmations, but turning them into incantations by saying them with such verve and vigor and meaning. You know, he's absolutely believing what he's saying. And so if you can say these things with an extra bit of oomph and put it into your body, he's always like smacking his hands together, like slamming his fist into his other hand as he's saying them. I am confident, I am wealthy, I am wise, I am healthy, I am free, right? All these things. And I started to utilize these techniques, you know, saying them with real meaning behind it, right? Not just saying them, but really believing what you're saying and knowing that they are true. And the more that you get in the habit of doing this and changing your beliefs about yourself, feeding yourself those good positive beliefs and affirmations, then you'll start to see a difference in your life and the way that you start to, you know, act and behave. And you can utilize these techniques at any time, right? It's a beautiful thing. I feel like confidence is like a muscle, right? We can continually work it out every day and become more and more confident. And you don't have to overwhelm yourself, right? Like, sometimes we just want our life to shift in an instant, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, you know, each day make a small change, and you'll continually become more and more confident, right? It might not happen overnight, but like, even the first time I did a performance, I remember for my music, I was super nervous. And, you know, as most people are when they're doing something like that for the first time. But, you know, the biggest mistakes I did was about the body language. First off, I was just, you know, clutching the microphone on the stand, standing there. I wasn't moving around, right? I kept it still. And this was my biggest mistake at first, right? Like, being an MC, first of all. You want to be free about on that stage, and you want to be able to move around and engage with the crowd, right? But I kept the mic in the stand, and I was just standing there nervous, and it went okay. But I looked at the video that my friend had taken of me, and I started to learn, like, what can I do better, right? First off, obviously, take that mic out of the stand and start to open up my body to the crowd, right? Just like I learned from that TED Talk. And so next time, first of all, I did more mental preparation next time and utilize these techniques like getting into power poses to open myself up. I started to stretch out more and stuff before, right? Open up the body, get the energy flowing. I took the mic out of the stand. I totally opened myself up wide to the crowd. I started to interact a little more before the show to get us comfortable with each other and build that good rapport. And all of a sudden, I felt so much more confident as soon as I started to perform. And it felt amazing. After the performance was done, there was somebody who was there from last time, and he was just like amazed. He said, "Wow, what a 180-degree difference from last time, right? You totally opened yourself up to the crowd." And we all felt it. We all felt your comfort and confidence this time. And I felt it too. It was amazing, It was great to get that feedback right away. And every time since then, I've just continually become more and more confident in my abilities. And that's what it is. It's building that trust, right? You just trust that things are going to go well. And you'll see that they probably will. And it's just that muscle, I keep working it out. And I keep getting more and more confident. And it's so amazing, right? We can do this with anything in life that we want to improve upon. So, even if you're not the most confident person, it doesn't mean that you'll never be confident or that you can't become more confident. It just takes little things to pull you out of the same rut that you've been in, right? To pull you out of the same mindset that you've had about yourself, and start to change your beliefs about who you are. And a lot of it has to do with our feelings of worthiness. We feel like we're not worthy of certain things, success or love or happiness, because of whatever reason. And so we can start to shift that and start to realize, like, we all deserve a life that we love to live, right? We're all worthy of living free, being happy, and being confident. So just know that, right? Like, you might see other people who are confident and, feel unworthy of them, right? You feel like you're comparing to them and you're not as good as them. And I think we've all been through, moments like that in our lives. But really, you can't compare to anybody because everybody's on a different life path than you, right? They've come up in different circumstances. They've had a whole different childhood and upbringing, and they have a totally different mind and energy than you. So there's really no sense in trying to compare to somebody else and try and live up to the way that they're living, right? We have to take everything in our own stride and stay in our own lane. And that's what really gives you confidence, right? Stopping the comparing with other people. That just drains your energy. If we can realize we have our own beautiful thing going on, right? We have something that the world really needs. We have something to offer that nobody else can offer this world. And we have those gifts within us that we can tap into. And just realizing that, we see, wow, we are amazing. We are special. We have so much to give. And that brings out our confidence, right? And the last thing I want to talk about is just, testing out your limits, right? Like I said, you don't have to go like cannonball into a ocean of sharks or something like that, but getting outside of our comfort zone is going to be so key for being confident, right? And so let's say, for example, you have social anxiety, And maybe you're just in situations like on a bus or something like that. There's a lot of people around and you just feel a bit nervous and anxious. You know, you're just maybe a bit overwhelmed by a lot of these people's energy. Maybe you're empathic, right? Maybe you're taking on board a lot of these energies and it can be a bit overwhelming. But if we can start to use this technique, get into the breath. What am I sensing right now? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I feeling? What am I smelling? All of these different things. And then once you're feeling more comfortable, maybe take it a step further. Maybe spark up a conversation with somebody, right? You know, sometimes we feel like others are judging us and they're thinking about us or they're looking at us or stuff like that. When really most people, you know, they have their own thing going on in their lives, in their own heads, and they really don't have time to be worrying about us and what we're doing. So, you know, most of that worry is just all in our heads. We create it out of just a basic fear. But if we can spark up a conversation with somebody and just tap into that connection with them, as these two beautiful butterflies dance around. Well, we can see then when we do that it's not that scary to be around people that we don't know. You know, we can have a nice chat with somebody and take that pressure off of being in a situation that you might be uncomfortable in, and just start to shift the energy a little bit. You know, find your way into it, wiggle your way into that comfort, spark up a little conversation. Or I've talked about it in another video, if you want to do it big and you're feeling anxious, go into a public situation and make a fool out of yourself, or be the spectacle, right? They talked about being in a busy train station or something and just lying flat on the ground in the middle of a bunch of people. Put yourself out on the ground and just lay there, and people will look at you and they may be judging you, but you don't care because, you know, you feel comfortable in who you are and you can do whatever you want. You don't care what other people are going to think about you and what they say about you. And I've done stuff like this, you know, I've tried that. I've done stuff like singing and dancing in public places a lot to just, you know, I just feel free doing it, so I just do it. And it continues to help me become more and more confident. You know, I realize even if people are judging you, it doesn't have to affect you at all, right? Like, everybody's got a different opinion of us at the end of the day. So what matters most is what we think about ourselves, and it all stems from self-love, right? So again, like looking in the mirror at yourself and really starting to look with love and reverence, right? There's nobody like you. So you don't have to feel, you know, negative about your self-image. Start to love who you are and what you look like. Start to love your voice, right? Start to speak with more confidence to yourself, even within your own mind. And eventually it'll start to spill out into your life, and you'll just be oozing that confidence in every moment. So yeah, that's all I want to share for today. I hope everyone has an amazing day. I hope this was helpful. Stay confident, keep giving yourself all that love that you deserve, right? And trust yourself that, you know what? Everything's gonna go just as it should go in life, and we don't need to worry about the future at all. You know, we can just live free in the moment and allow it to flow as it will, and live in confidence. So that's it for today. Peace and limitless love.